And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. And if you're on the other side of the planet, happy Sunday to you. I hope you have had an amazing week, and I hope that we're going to have a busy night like we have been having for the past couple of weeks. And I finally got it to start like it should. You know what I mean? Sometimes I was back and forth, but I got it working now, and we've got 24 people here, so that's good. Susan, hello from in California. Ken in Wisconsin, hello. Itzel, hello. A lizard, hello in St. Louis. See, now that I've got it set up right, I can say hello to people. Hello, Penny. How are you today, Penny? And Penny in the United Kingdom. Evan, hello. Karen, hello. JC Batha in South Africa. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. It must be like in the middle of the night or something, or early morning there. I'm not sure, but thank you for watching over in South Africa. J Norb, hello. Joseph Sports Cards, hello. Big Sean, hello. Jim Husky, Jose Serrano, Jay Conda, Lime A, Louise, Judy Hanson, Kathy, Golden Boy, Natural Spirit, Joe Menace, KS Wonder, Lightning McQueen. All right, we've got someone here from the movie Cars. That's great. So we've already got somebody here, and I think that is Ariel, who has been on, not only has she been a guest on Saturday night, but she has also been we've done a full podcast with her about her NDE, and I don't know her number. I hope she knows her number off the bat, but I don't know it. But let's bring her in and get started. Now, if you want to, well, right before I bring her in, I might as well make this announcement now. I'm glad that it has Karen. Hello, do 1960TM. Hello, Mr. Moi 1. Anyways, what was I going to say? I just forgot. Oh, so if you look in the description below, you can see how to join me by just going to Zoom, choose join a meeting, then the meeting ID or meeting room ID or whatever is there, and then also the password is there. So that's all you need to join. And there's other stuff there that we'll get into, but let's get Ariel in and see what Ariel's up to. Ariel, can you hear me?
How's it going?
Great. How are you? Where are you at today?
I am in San Diego.
San Diego. All right. You know what's pretty cool is Ariel used to travel across the country, and one time after she was already a guest, she was traveling through San Antonio, so we got to hang out together at Starbucks for a couple hours and chit chat. So it's not very often that I get to meet. It's not very often that I get to meet my guests in real life. I think Ariel and then one other person that he actually lives like down the street from me. I didn't even know until I met him, and we talked about angels. And it's terrible that I can't remember his name, but maybe it'll come back later. Anyways, what's going on with you, Ariel?
Not much. I've been working really hard. We've been moving along, doing some stuff with our foundation. That's kept me pretty busy. And then just fighting my health, you know.
I was gonna say, how is your health? How are you doing?
Well, I've had a bit of challenges the last little bit. I caught pneumonia, so that kind of brought me down a little bit, and then hopefully we can get remedied and go on from there and get stronger with the other stuff. But it kind of yeah.
You know, do you remember what podcast number you were?
I don't know. Remember the number.
It has
but
some
Matrix. I know most people when they look it up, they always say Ariel Hooper, the ND Matrix.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And if you can see right down here is her name, how you spell it. So if you want to see that one, Do you want to remind people a little bit about what happened? How did you end up leaving your body? I forgot what happened to you.
I was in hospice, and
Hospice.
yes, so I was going through the full experience of what it is to literally walk through realizing you're gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was in hospice and I was in adrenal failure, and that's where I died.
Yeah. And then Ariel is one of the few people that I think you would say you basically woke up in a pod on the other side, right?
Yes, yes. And I'd also like I'd gone through like several dimensions. I chose to come back. It
Mm-hmm.
was my time left, and because of some certain things, I don't know. I'm just me and decide why not? I'll go back.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do
you
you,
know,
do
so
you think it was an exit point, like you had possibly pre-birth chose this as an exit point or a possible one?
like you mean like I knew that I was exiting at that time, that I would
Right.
have previously planned it. I mean, I believe when you realize you wake up in a pod and you go, wait a sec, this is just nothing but a game at this
Mm-hmm.
time. I mean, yeah, you kind of sit, oh, did I plan this crap? Like, is this part of that journey to discover who I really was in the first place? Like, is that the original design? I don't always necessarily know if everything we've had to experience was our original design, because I believe that chaos came in and scrambled some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what was supposed paradise hasn't necessarily been that, but we can have it, we can be in it, because it's just that original discovery, right, of your original design allows you to discover what you're capable of.
I had a guest that I recorded today, and I love the way he put it. And he said basically the other side is right here,
Yes.
where we are now, and being here is like being in a dream.
Bingo. Yeah, yeah, that's perfectly well said. I love hearing that
Mm-hmm.
actually, because that guy just gave me some words, because it is hard to kind of put that into a box for people. But yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, because I came from, the stage of preaching. So I came from the church. And so I always look for that language that I can speak to my community with and say
Mm-hmm.
to them, yo, the kingdom you're seeking for, that you continuously think you got to die to get there, you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't move your veil to see the truth before you.
Right.
We are in our way. We're our own prison guard and prisoner at the same time.
Yeah, I think the way he also said it's like we're already there.
Exactly.
It's just we're
Yeah.
in a dream here, but we're already there. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking is you should come next time and play a song for us.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah,
Did you
sure.
write did you
Yeah.
write one about NDE, your NDE?
Yeah, I've written so many. I would say there's several that have an expression of what I went through,
Mhm.
for sure. I think there's a lot. There's a few. I even wrote one just yesterday I wrote it, but today I finally recorded it.
Mhm.
And it's again about that journey of how I discovered that mirrored image, what it was like. Like I
Mm.
tell people, you don't have to die to face what I faced. We can
Right.
face it all.
You know,
So
so you mentioned mirror and you just brought back something to me, and this was so fascinating. And I've said this over and over again that one podcast leads into another and into another, and it's amazing the synchronicities. And I think it was today, it was the third time somebody had talked about this in like 2 weeks about staring into a mirror, and that does something to you. And when he was looking into a mirror today, he started like going out of his body and just like from his NDE. Have you ever had that kind of
yeah,
experience looking into a mirror?
oh, yeah, completely. So I've gone, and even I was just talking to my friend about this, another friend of mine, about this the other day, and I said, hey, have you ever just realized that that same experience we experienced in that mirrored image in the outer, that we can experience it right here in our mirrors right here. And so yeah, I've sat there in my meditative state, and it's no different. It opens up the same way as if when I was in my outer, when I left my body, and was not in this form anymore. It's the same thing. It's our minds analyze so much. We're seeing stuff all the time, but we push it away because we're so not in the moment anymore.
Mhm.
We're so stressed out. We're so future tripping or concentrating on our past that we can't just be in the time of right now, you
Mhm.
know? And
Mhm.
that's the thing that stops us from seeing past these veils is that we're just so chaotic. We're everywhere but where we're supposed to be.
Mhm. I like those words, future tripping. That sounds cool.
Yeah. I got those words from a good friend of mine. Actually, he gave them to me one time when he was getting mad at me because I was saying, what if, what it was literally before I went into hospice and I was doing all these what ifs crap, right? Like as if I'm going to stop what's happening here. And he said, why do you future tripping for? You're
Mhm.
wasting your time. You shouldn't be embracing the moment.
Mhm.
And that was before I died. It wasn't until I died that I really understood what that meant.
Mhm. That'll be that I need to make a t-shirt that just says stop future tripping.
You know? Yeah, and the other thing I tell people all the time, what are you doing writing yourself a negative future? Like, really? You
Yeah.
want to do that for yourself? Like, why?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
you know,
Right. It's so funny is again, when you say stuff, it reminds me of podcasts, and I recorded another one. I don't think it's posted yet about manifesting and how sometimes we manifest bad stuff too.
we
You
really
have to be
do.
careful to not manifest, problems.
I told you know how we always see the word hope, like it's supposed to be this good word, but I believe we've misused it. I hope that tomorrow's a good day. Really? What are
Hmm.
you doing hoping for it? What, you don't know how to say tomorrow's going to be a good day?
Yeah.
Or I hope it's not gonna do. It's like we're gonna play the. I'm the horrible Eeyore, not a cloud in the sky, but it's still gonna rain. So like, but we do that. I mean, I honestly never noticed how much and how powerful our words are and what we do with them until I went through what I went through,
Hmm.
and now it's like I'm very careful with my words. I don't ever want to insult anyone. I don't ever want to manipulate with my directions because I realize they write something. They actually are words, whether they're heard by anybody, cause an effect in our frequency and in our entire cosmos.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, well, the way we think is important.
Well, Ariel, before I run here, I've got a little bit of time left with you. Did you have something in particular that you wanted to come and share today?
Um, I think the biggest message I've been really sharing with it's even been on my pages is I think I want to encourage people to they've gone through not just these NDEs, but even just people that are walking through this awakening and realizing this image of what they really are, is that you recognize that as you're going through that, you're going to face losses. But to recognize that as those losses happen, that there's these beautiful gains and that we as people deserve and have all ability to go on our journeys to get to that place of bliss and freedom, and no one, not a single soul, should ever be in the way that would direct you any other way. And if they are, that's where sometimes we got to kind of step aside for a while we journey through, because we're no good to anybody if we're not willing to gaze into that mirror to see who we are.
There are a lot of people that are out there that are suffering over the loss of loved ones, family members, etc. What kind of advice can you give to those people?
In the real world, of what I comprehend and everything I've gained, is that, yeah, we feel the losses because we can't seem to see them in the presence of us in this image. But to understand that there is no real separation, that they are actually right there, is as real as when they were in the flesh. There's no separation of that. it's only our minds that have done that for us, that have created any kind of segregation. So that's the biggest thing. And the other thing is this, I know a lot of people say like suicide and stuff, and they worry about that. And there's this different religious beliefs, but everyone finds the light. It's just sometimes we have a longer journey than others. So if we die in darkness, sometimes it takes a while to get out of that, but we always find the light. It's the way it is. It's just like when you get lost here on the earth in your own self, it's no different. In the other realm, it's no different. But we always find ourselves.
That's a great message.
Yeah.
Well, Ariel, I've got to run, but thanks for coming and hanging out with us. And next time I'll see you and your guitar, all right?
All right, sounds good. Take it easy.
All right, take care. Good seeing you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, she's gone. And another one of my guests was gone. I had someone else coming in, and I looked like her name was Beth something. And maybe she'll be back. Oh, I forgot. We gotta thank Ariel. We gotta give her an applause. And we're waiting for Eric. Now, Eric B. Is this Eric that we just had on the podcast? I have a feeling it might be. Oh, now Beth's back. She came back. Well, now she's gone. Maybe she's having trouble. Okay, I hear some noise. Kind of sounds like a spaceship in the background, right?
Hey.
Eric.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Eric. Welcome back.
Well, I'm glad to be back.
So,
I just,
one
I have
second.
a little story that I
Give me 1 second, because I want to just look here and let everybody know that Eric, when did I post the podcast with you? Was it on Monday? Thursday, Wednesday? Maybe it was on Sunday we posted it. So Eric was just on Sunday. I hope you saw his podcast. Let me see. He was saved by Archangel Michael is the title. So if you haven't seen that after tonight, go back and watch it. And I think you'll really enjoy it. It's done very well. It's got lots of views, and I think it was really well received. Did you get a lot of people contacting you?
Yeah, quite a lot of people actually went to my YouTube channel to see the images I have about dragons.
Oh,
and
okay,
the videos. I got like 120 videos, and some people are asking me questions, and I'm very happy to answer these questions.
All right.
But the reason I contacted you is just a little. I have a little story. I know you have people who watch your show who are Bigfoot lovers.
Yes.
And I have a Bigfoot story. So I said, hey, maybe I should tell that just for fun. It's very short.
Yeah.
It's not. It's very. It's no big thing, but anyways.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: did you see the Bigfoot in Canada or in the U.S.?
In the U.S. I saw it in Washington State.
Ah, makes sense.
2011. I was in BC. I bought a 24-foot motorhome and stayed a month in BC. Got tired of it. Was always sleeping at the parking Walmart parking lot. So I decided to take the ferry, and from Victoria, I took the ferry all the way to Seattle. Then I went to. I had some friends who are living near the Fort Lewis Army base that's in Washington State. So they're living in the woods. They say, come and see me. And I said, all right, I have a nice place. And I stayed 4 months with them. And one night I was all alone in the woods with the camper. I made a fire. I forgot what time it was. It wasn't that, I guess it would be like 10 o'clock at night. And I decided to meditate right there in front of the fire. I meditated for quite a while, I remember. And something, I had this feeling something touched the top of my head, a hand. It actually freaked me out. I went, what was that? I didn't see anything. I went inside the camper and said, okay, that was weird. Anyways, the next day, or the day after that, actually, I think it's the day after that, I meet the neighbor who was not too far away, about 150 feet away. There was a wood, and he was on the other side of the wood. I meet the guy, and I start to talk with him. And I said, have you ever encountered something strange here? And he looks at me and says, yeah. And I said, okay, what was it? He said, he didn't say Bigfoot. He said, I saw a hairy man run. I said, really? And I was like, my eyes were, I was like, what? You saw a hairy man run? I said, can you take me where? He said, yeah, no problem. He shows me. It was about maybe 400 feet away from where I was. And I said, did you see his face? He said, no, I just saw this hairy man, the whole body full of hair, running straight towards the wood, never looked back. And from that point, I stayed for a few months there at the place or in the woods. And I decided to try to communicate telepathically, just with my mind. And I'm pretty sure I did communicate with with whatever, the Sasquatch. And one morning, I found a footprint, just a large footprint, but it wasn't clear enough it hadn't rained, so it wasn't like his foot was clearly marked in the mud, but we could see a large footprint. So anyways, I came back. Oh, here it is. I got this made. I made this actually. I asked a friend to make it for me. Mm-hmm. It says basically, don't hunt Bigfoot. That's just wrong.
Yeah, that's cool.
And because I noticed there's these shows on TV where you see people hunting or trying they go after Sasquatch with a gun or some gadgets. And if ever they see your show, what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to do that. You go where they are and you calm down and you call them. They'll come to you. And the next morning, you'll see tracks around your tent. So you don't have to go after them like a predator. You could actually just raise your frequency and they'll come to you. And, if you're in a good vibration, they'll never harm you. But if you have a gun and you're going after them with camera, then who knows what's going to happen. So that was my my Bigfoot story. I wasn't actually sure it happened, mm-hmm. That something touched me, but the neighbor confirmed me that, yeah, I saw he said a hairy man with hair all over his body. That was his, but personally, I did not see it. He did. That's my story.
What do you think Bigfoot is?
I think that Sasquatch, there's no way, there's thousands of them hiding in the woods. For me, it's more, they can't be physical all the time. For me, right. They're just popping in other dimensions, and when they want to pop out, they're popping. So you run after them. I don't know if you, there is in the Himalayas, I think it was 1950, a guy took, actually you'll find this on the internet, these pictures of footprints in the snow, and you could see you can see his footprints, and suddenly they stop. And he looked, there's no way, what happened? So it's like, actually, the Sasquatch or the Yeti felt that it was being followed, then it just raised its frequency and moved into another realm. And we have a hard time dealing with that because they look, we associate with our brains that this looks like some gigantic caveman, half monkey, half human, and the brain naturally will say, well, he's not evolved. But who knows? Maybe they were actually more evolved than us. They just have, you know, their body is made to live with nature, as our body is not really. I mean, if we don't have clothes, we freeze, and they you know, they're actually very evolved creatures because they don't even make fires. You can't, you know, you're in the woods, they don't make a fire. They actually will eat a deer without making a fire. So they're very hard to spot, but they're there. And I really hope that humanity evolves, or we're going to stop trying to hunt them down, but we're actually going to go into the woods, meditate, and call them, and just realize that, you know, move on to another. There's so many shows you see people always trying in a very non-respectful way to make contact with them. We should just open our hearts and say, hey, we want to meet you guys. And I'm pretty sure it would happen. It's just we haven't reached that level of consciousness yet. That seems to be the bug, the problem.
Well, I'm glad you gave us that insight, because the next time I'm in that area and if I'm out camping, I will try that, to meditate and call them in. It's almost kind of like, to me, sounds like a CE5 calling in aliens, but instead just calling Bigfoot.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you a secret that I never said to anybody, but I'll say it now. I have this theory that when I was there for months, I noticed something sometimes, that there were cloud patterns, and where I thought the Bigfoot was, the clouds on top would be strange. I think when a Sasquatch is somewhere, the clouds on top of him will be weird looking. Maybe they're morphing themselves because of his frequency, or actually maybe he's communicating with others. You'll notice that. Look at the sky when you're in the woods. If you sometimes you can see from far away, you'll see there's some strange cloud activity in front, on top of certain parts of the forest. And that's, for me, that's I'm pretty sure that's a giveaway. You could, you know, something's weird about that, but they clearly have a lot of power and a lot of they're totally connected with nature. And you know, nature is, they're one with nature. So when you get close to them, I'm pretty sure the forest is actually telling them someone is coming. They're totally in contact with the crystalline realm. You know the crystalline realm? I don't know if you.
No, I don't know that. What is that?
Well, the crystalline realm. When I met Archangel Michael, I went through the crystalline realm. I didn't tell you that last time, and you're in. It's just before you reach the angelic realm. You'll feel it. It's like everything becomes crystalline. It's beautiful. When you come back into this realm, you bring that with you, and you walk into the woods, and you can see the crystalline nature of the forest, and how it's a special energy. Actually, when you see for example, a snowflake is very much the crystalline realm manifested into the physical form. And Sasquatch is clearly related to the crystalline realm. That's the feeling I have from the experience. You know, and the crystalline realm is basically very close to nature, and they're using that as a portal. It's hard to explain, but when I went into the crystalline realm and I came back into this realm, I noticed something, is that all the realms there's a little part of each realm into this realm. I had never noticed before that in the forest, I would walk in the forest, I said, oh, it's beautiful, but I had never noticed that the crystalline realm was actually inside the physical realm. They're all layered one into to each realm has a part of the other realm into it. And when you go into, for example, the angelic realm, you come back, you can see that realm into this one. That has opened your mind. You're more aware, and now you have a totally different perspective into this realm. Anyways, I didn't want to make this too long, but
that's all right. I was gonna say I need to
for the Sasquatch hunters out there.
I need to run, but for anybody who wants to learn about the angel realm or any of the other realms, because we talked about the other realms, I'm trying to look what podcast number that is. Oh, but we just did it. We just posted, I think, on Sunday. But go check out the podcast that I just did with him, and you can talk. You can see more about what we were talking about, these different realms.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right, Eric. I gotta run, brother. But thanks for popping in. And
thank you. Goodbye.
All right, take care.
You too.
All right, Ananda, Bulgaria is next. And I think this is Gopal in Bulgaria. We'll see real soon. Oh, I want to say, by the way, a big thank you to KS Wonder for the super thanks. Thank you for that. We really appreciate it. And it says bravo. Gopal, can you hear me?
Hey, yes. Just I'm gonna take out YouTube here. Okay, I can hear you.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you today?
Very good, very good. It's very interesting because I just wanted to go to sleep, so I just sat to meditate. Suddenly, it popped into my mind to take out YouTube, and I knew that you were somehow, but I didn't remember. I just knew inside, so I said, okay, that's a sign.
Maybe there's a special message you're supposed to give us. So what is that special message you have for us?
Okay, well, I just remember because this gentleman before me said something about the realms, which they are interconnected, interlayered. Actually, it's very interesting because actually Yogananda, which I follow, Paramahansa Yogananda, I'm officially his disciple. I took discipleship years ago. I follow Kriya Yoga. So he was also explaining that the astral world, which is the other dimension, which our astral bodies after that they people who are NDE, they experience these things in the astral body, which is another body we have. So he said the astral world is just here, a hand, like a palm away. It's here. It's interconnected. He said, he explained it like, just like you can see it because you don't have this perception of this really like higher vibration, another frequency. It's like toning the dial.
Right. I'm going to stop you 1 second. Were you here with the very first guest?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, so we just spoke, what time is it? 30 minutes ago with the very first guest. And I told everybody that I recorded a podcast this morning. And it's interesting that you're repeating it. The guy told me today, the other side is right here with us.
Wow.
It's just being here is in a dream. But the other side, whether it's the astral, it's right here with us too, just like what you just said. Just like what Yogananda said. The astral world is right here too. We just can't see it. But we're sleeping.
Yes, and he explained that it's here, but you just cannot feel it. You cannot see it. But it's like a sponge when you submerge a sponge into the water, and the water is into the sponge, but the sponge is also apart from the water, but also the water is like soaking the sponge. That's like all the energy of the astral world and everything. That's what these people, the scientists, call this black matter. Black matter, it what consists 99.9% of the universe is black matter, which this is the water which is soaking everything around us. It's energy, and prana comes from there also, no? And this world, the astral world, is much bigger. Like Swami Shri Yukteswar, who is the guru of Yogananda, he wrote a book called The Holy Science. You can actually, I think you can find it for free on Google. But he said that the astral world, which is the energy world, which we don't see, which you go after that, and it has billions and billions, it's much bigger, billions of planets, the heavenly planets, the heavenly realms, they have hierarchy and stuff. It's like our universe, material universe, is so big, it's inconceivably big, but compared to the astral universe, it's like a small basket under the big balloon of the astral universe. It's like a small basket compared to the astral universe, and there is like billions of planets, billions of beings living there, lots of levels and stuff. There are 7 levels, like Bubua, Swamahajana, Tapasatya. In the Vedas are seven levels, and then 7 levels below the hellish realms and the heavenly realms. And the hellish realms are Tal, Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Rasatal, Patal, and each is worse than the other, and I have heard in the people who said that there are levels to hells and there are levels to heavens, which is true. Also in the Quran, also in the Bible, everywhere is 7, so
it's interesting is I just had a thought that I'm going to have to try this next week. Is right before I come live, I need to meditate and raise my energy and see if something even more special happens during live. And what would be maybe even cooler is if all the regulars come do the same thing. So if we have all this raised energy of people watching before it happens, who knows, maybe some interesting being interdimensional will show up and come on the podcast, or who knows what.
Absolutely. And maybe we can do a live meditation, 10 minutes. Everybody can sit and meditate and raise the vibration, raise the frequency. And I'm sure that because there is no actually it doesn't exist like time and space. So we are all connected, interconnected here at once, and we can connect and expand the light and the love, and it's really powerful.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea too. Maybe we can have somebody do that. Someone come that's really good that can give us like a guided, just a real quick one, a guided 10-minute meditation right at the beginning, a guided one to guide us all through. I could just play like, I can find some like real soft music to play in the background. This has kind of got some rhythm to it, but just some real smooth music in the background, just a quick, maybe, I don't know if 10 minutes is going to be too long, or 5 or 10 minutes, maybe be okay because people will still stay, but maybe that'll be interesting if we raise everybody's energy. We'll see if that makes any effect on the podcast. At least it'd be a cool experiment.
Very cool. And I'm a meditation teacher. I have a group. We meditate every week together. And so in meditation, we say, Yogananda said actually, that 10 minutes focused quality meditation, it's much more beneficial than let's say half an hour, 1 hour scattered, your thoughts are everywhere and you are not focused meditation. So at 5-10 minutes twice a day, it will make miracles for you if you do it correctly, which is not very difficult to do. So we can do 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's quality. You will feel it in the first minute, and it will help you a lot. So it's for the soul, it's for the love, it's for everything. So it's a connection with God, so with higher power.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. That'll be really cool. And people are here for 2 hours anyways, so
yes,
5 minutes is, the people that are not serious about being here will leave, but the people who really enjoy what we do here will be here for the 5 minutes, and maybe they'll actually participate.
Absolutely, that would be wonderful. I just wrote to Sharon Milliman right now. I said to her, I'm going to JeffMara. By the way, I told her about that I was last week, and she said, please send him thank you and regards to Jeff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't respond because she's something. Yeah, I think her stepmom passed away. I was praying for her family and that, and she's very busy of helping her family. So and that would be wonderful. Maybe next week she will be freer and she can come and we can meditate together and do stuff. And yeah.
Well, I've got to run, but send her our condolences and our love, and You know, that, I mean, that's something we can think about. If you think you can lead it, maybe we'll have you lead it.
I will be honored and really happy to do that if
All right,
you
cool.
if you permit. Okay, so
Yeah, we'll have to plan on that next Saturday.
okay, all right. Maybe I can send you an email or something.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that sounds
Okay,
cool.
Jeff.
All right, take care.
Thank you
Go
so
Bob.
much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so that's cool. That was a cool idea. All right, so, I didn't give him this. An applause for Gopal. All right, Vanessa is here, and Vanessa has also been a previous guest. And I can't remember if we talked about angels or she had an NDE or what. I'm not really sure, but we need to look into that and see what's going on. We'll ask her. And then after her, next one in line is Karen. K-N Wright. Maybe her name's Karen Wright. This is kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of like techno music of being in the club. It's kind of got that rhythm started up. All right, so while we're waiting for Vanessa, by the way, in the description below, what's all there? The JeffMara Facebook page, you can like that. I post other stuff there. Oh. Okay, we're waiting for Vanessa's sound. And let me see, I should have one of my special signs here made by Penny. And it says this. Wait. It says waiting for audio to sync. And if you guys need any printing work, you can hit up Penny Sutton in the comments. She can do that for you. I can hear you. How are you?
Hi, how are you guys?
Great. Great. Busy night.
Busy night.
I was trying to let everybody know about what you came on the podcast for. Did you have an NDE or angels, or I couldn't remember, and I apologize about that.
Well, it's a mixture of a lot of things. I got healed. I got healed from my anxiety, and I got healed from my cancer also. I had a tumor, an ovary tumor, and my spiritual awakening, I would say, I don't know, my spiritual experience, right? Life experience where I levitated. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you're down in Puerto Rico, right?
Yes, I am in Puerto Rico.
How are things down there?
Everything's fine.
That's great.
Fine. It's cold for us.
Oh, yeah? Well, actually here, I'm not as far south in Texas, but I'm pretty far south, and it's been pretty chilly here for Texas.
Yeah. Temperatures, Mother Earth is resented. We need to do something about that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
our collective consciousness.
You're right. What do you have to share with us this week?
Well, actually, it's about consciousness. First, I wanted to let you know that I have my YouTube channel, Evo Life 360 already.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Did you just start it up?
Yes, just.
Okay. What is the name of your channel again?
Evo Life 360.
Evo Light?
Evo Life.
Evo Life.
Yes. Evolution and life. Yes.
Evolution Life. Okay, good. Because at first I thought you said Evil Life, and I was like, that can't be right.
Evo Life.
Evo Life, for like Evolution Life.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Evo Life 360.
Well, when you finish, why don't you put a link to your channel in the chat?
Oh, okay.
So people can find it. So, all right. So you got your new channel, and what else is going on?
Yeah, a lot. Oh my God. Since you interviewed me, I've had so much. It's been quite a research and downloads that I don't have words to explain.
Wow.
Yeah, massive. I mean, massive in terms of science data and quantum and the quantum field and how we've misconstrued consciousness nature mankind has always had like a battle within, right? Trying to understand this duality that we have. And the truth is that it doesn't have to do with our brain, actually, because nothing, consciousness does not have to, we've given too much attention to the brain, right? Because it is our physical aspect trying to control, as always. But consciousness is all about experience, and the only thing that gives us experience in life, it's not our thoughts, they are our emotions. So it's through feeling and emotions. And this is why when we cross over, so many of the people that you interview, they express, right? Continuously, you're gonna hear this, that they experience their NDE through what they feel. They talk a lot about their emotions, their intense emotions. And this is because the atoms that we have in our bodies, actually an average of 7 and 27 zeros behind that is what we have in a normal adult body, amount of atoms that we have. Those that were contained before, they were contained and they were insulated, right, inside the body, now are free. Like in a gas, if you look in a gas, the molecules in a gas, they vibrate to a higher frequency than in a solid. Okay, so when we die, what happens is we become, again, we go back to being in our energetic body, okay, like an atom. That's why we see orbs, right? The orbs. Okay, when we go back to that state, that gaseous state, right? Energy, it's fluid, it's not linear. So we go back to that state, and consciousness is experienced to a higher level. This is why people talk about that reality being even more real than the life that they left. And it is because now the vibration, because they're free from the thing that gave them insulation, so the vibration is going to be to a higher level of vibration because the atoms are free now. So we're going to feel everything we feel, like the love. That's why the love and the calm and all these emotions are going to be felt to a much higher frequency than what we used to experience them when we were embodied. And that is the reason we've become energy again, and we're fused with the electromagnetic fields that are outside that we cannot see, as the gentleman that you were talking to right now, right? So it is a very, that field is highly charged because it includes all the atoms in the universe that we cannot see. So it's extremely powerful. And when we are in the same state, right? Because atoms and atoms are in the same state now. So you're going to experience that too, and it's going to be felt to a much higher and deeper. And since atoms are multidimensional, right? The quantum field is multidimensional. This is why we have like a 360 degree vision. We can experience everything and feel everything, know what is going on everywhere, right? Because this field, this quantum field, doesn't have a space and doesn't have it's not contained like we used to be before. So now we're going to experience that. And consciousness, which we are going to experience through what we feel, okay? Through what we feel, as soon as we feel it, as we direct our consciousness or our emotions to anything, we're going to manifest instantaneously whatever it is that we want to take our consciousness to. But it's not that we think about it, because there's not a brain to think of anything. It is that more we experience it. It is a continual experiencing of what we feel and sensations, which are vibrational frequencies that the atom has. And this is why we don't understand, and we always are confused because we are embodied, and yes, our consciousness uses this body together with our thoughts, and it has a mechanism and an order to it, because understand that energy and everything that surrounds us is mathematics. Everything has a perfect and a precise order. This is why your body functions. Your body has consciousness in every cell, through the plasma of the blood, actually. But what goes on in your body, you don't control. Your body knows exactly what each organ has to do, and no one. And this is an intelligence. This is consciousness.
Yeah, we call that innate intelligence.
Exactly. But it is consciousness. That is what we are. But we don't identify that as consciousness, but it is consciousness. It is the innate intelligence that we were brought into this world. We do have. Atoms have it. Atoms are filled with information, mathematical information, and order to them. Okay, so we are full of atoms, so we are full of that information also. And it's a matter of understanding how everything is joined, because since energy, although in this realm we see it separately, everything is fluid and is together. It cannot be truly separated. And as above, so below, right? We have the universe is represented in our body, in our physical body, through the chakra system, our energetic body, and organs. And as above, so below, everything repeats and keeps on repeating in our body again. These universal laws, everything, and since we are energy, we understood a universal law, how we would understand everything about the universe and ourselves and in our lives. If we really learn to apply universal law to everything, even our biology, right? We would understand why everything and the doubts that if consciousness does transcend this present life, we would know that, because energy cannot be destroyed, and this part, atoms, cannot be destroyed, and these are vibrational frequencies that we are gonna keep on feeling. So when the person leaves the body, right, we disembody, we keep on feeling the part of us that is experiencing right now, right? Keeps on. That's why we're confused. Oh, but I see myself and I'm feeling it. The part of me that feels separates from the part that doesn't feel in itself. And it is difficult to comprehend, because that's why the person is confused for a while, why he understands what's going on. But once that knowing, that intelligence, because we all know that, okay? We do know, it's just that we forget. We forget.
Vanessa, I'm going to have to run because I've got 4 people waiting on me. But before I go, I want to let you know that I have your first 2 or your next 2 YouTube videos. One is somebody wants to know more about your levitating. So I recommend you make a video about that so you can answer that. And 2, you should make a video about what you just talked about, because I think that would deserve a whole video.
I have.
Oh, you have it already?
Yes.
All right, there you go.
Actually, there's a live video. Actually, it came because a viewer of yours made me a question that he wanted to know how could I prove that consciousness does have eternity. and what is it about? Consciousness, what is it? So I made the videos, I made them live, and what I'm doing now is that I do them in Facebook, and
now you move them to your YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Well, Vanessa, thank you for coming and sharing with us. I really appreciate you. I'm glad to see you again, and I wish you massive success with your YouTube channel. And don't forget to put the link in the chat.
Okay, I will.
All right, have a great night, Vanessa.
Blessings to all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Vanessa. All right, so let's see what Karen is up to. And what is her channel? I think I asked her to put it, for everybody who's curious, I asked Vanessa to put it in the chat. So hopefully she'll put a link to it there. And I can hear Karen doing stuff. There you are, Karen.
How you doing, Jeff?
Great, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you. Can you do me a favor? Your microphone is rubbing the zipper.
I apologize.
That's okay, and it's making like a scratchy sound.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So have you been on? You've been on before, right?
I have, yes. I was visiting San Diego last time. Yeah.
All right. That's cool. Thanks for coming back. What's new?
Yes. Oh, really not a whole lot. I was listening to Ariel.
Ariel,
and I'm always inspired. Whenever I watch this, that's why I call in. I just am inspired after somebody speaks, and I just feel their soul and stuff. But there's so many things I have to say. The meditation thing will change things, if everybody can just take 5 minutes. I know it from past experience. And also your last speaker talking about energy, we all know about that. You can start a roll on a whatever you want to call it. It's good or bad. You can start a roll on the high side of things and your life soars, or you can go into like this burst of anger, and that it'll just carry you right into another situation where you can be angry again. So I just want to touch on that. But most of all, the reason I called in is because I felt something about Ariel that I think is so important for people. And by the way, I had shared death experience and then a couple transformative experiences. And so, but self-love is the most important thing that I could ever tell you about. And I felt it in Ariel almost as if it was missing. So that's why I had to call in and she probably knows it. She's been on the other side, but just as a reminder, and a reminder to your audience that give yourself a break. Life isn't for sissies. This is tough. This is a tough life.
I'm going to stop you right there for 1 second, because I always love to bring up synchronicities in the podcast. And tomorrow's podcast is going to be about self-love, because we've already started editing it. So, and then I think one more between yesterday and the last couple of days, I've done like 2 self-love podcasts, and and so it's amazing that now you're bringing it up, and it's gonna play out tomorrow night on tomorrow's podcast. How important it is, and how we are not participating enough in self-love.
Yeah, that's so crazy, but that's just the perfect example of how things snowball. You know what I'm saying? That's no coincidence. There are no coincidences. You know what I'm saying? And so we actually are connecting to it all. I'm not speaking all of that very well, but yeah, it's cool. Life is cool like that. But so I wrote a few things down, and these things are hard to remember, but if you've listened to all the speakers so far, life isn't really real. It's a dream. I know that's hard, but just try to remember that when you're being kind and gentle to yourself. If you make a mistake and you're rude, I just did it the other day and I hate it, but I remember to tell myself, hey, listen, this is not so easy. This life is not easy.
Right.
So don't get upset with yourself. Pat yourself on the leg like you would if you had your 5-year-old child next to you. You know, it's going to be all right. You made a mistake. It's cool. You're going to be okay. Go apologize if you feel like you need to. And there's no, no problem with that either. Apologies go a long way.
Yeah.
But yes, so yeah, just don't take things too serious. Forgiveness is so important, especially if you're trying to heal. We want to be empty. Like one of your speakers just said, you don't want to go out of this life carrying stuff. You want to be light as a feather. One of my favorite people in the world refers to that, light as a feather. And just always try to be light as a feather, even though we don't condone the things that people do or say or treat us. We don't condone it. We can say, we know that life isn't easy. They're doing the best they can. They did the best they could. And just try to be gentle, just like you're trying to be gentle with yourself. So forgiveness has very little to do with someone else. It's for you. It's to empty you.
You're so right about that.
That's really about it.
That's
really
all you got today?
Yeah.
Well,
but I
you still
love
had...
connecting.
Well, I appreciate you coming and sharing. You gave us some good information, and I'm happy to have you, and don't be a stranger.
Right. Thank you. It was great being here. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, Karen, you take care.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so I've got to say a couple things here because before they get by me. And that is, I want to acknowledge three people here real quick. Okay, LB, thank you so much for that super thanks. I really appreciate that. And then we'll go back to the next one and we'll say, PD Pete, thank you for that super thanks. And he's happy to announce that we've completed timestamping 100 episodes. So if you don't know what that is, we started a Discord group and Pete is spearheading this project where we're trying to get every video. We kind of, I don't know how many things that they have in each video, but we're getting all the ideas or the subjects within the video and trying to catalog them. For example, so if we have, someone who saw and described angels in a video, I'll know that in video 600, 300, 200, 443, 672, whatever, I can draw on those videos and make one massive video of one person after another describing angels that they saw on the other side. So it'd be like really fascinating videos. And he says, so they have 100 episodes. Thank you to Minnie Rapunzel, Awaken Ken, Peg Connolly, Kim Hayes, Olga A, and Thomas Edwards. So thank you guys so much for participating and helping out with that. I mean, I really appreciate that. And if you want to volunteer too, you can just go to the Discord, which in the description below is the Discord link. And Discord is kind of like Facebook but different. And so what you can do is you can go to Discord, get a free profile, and then you use my link to join the rooms. And there's over 500 people, I'm pretty sure, in the room. So if you want to hang out with like-minded people and chat and post stuff, that is available to you as well. And the next one is with Typo, and since Typo is right here, I'm just going to bring her in the room and thank her personally for that super thanks. And who? And Angela. Oh, and Angela, thank you very much for that super thanks. I didn't see that one. So we'll see Typo here. Where is she? While we're waiting for her. And also down in the super thanks, not super thanks, in the description below. So I was saying earlier, there's my Facebook, JeffMara Facebook page. You're welcome to friend me on Facebook. I'm accepting friends until we get 5,000 people. And you'll see my last name is Reynolds. My dear wife's name is Mara, so it's the JeffMara podcast. It's me and my wife's podcast. And she is the editor of the podcasts. But a lot of times people get confused and think that Mara is my last name, but it actually isn't. That's my wife's name. And so anyways, you're welcome to friend me there. And there's a couple other things. We have our other channel that's there, a link to our music channel, which eventually I'm going to do some meditation music and different stuff like that. But there's just some old music that I used to produce because I used to be a music producer, as well as our Indie Clips channel is there as well. And that channel is, I just take the clips of NDEs, just the guests speaking about it, and they're usually about 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how long the NDE is there. And then I will, you can watch those type of videos if you just want, you only have that amount of time to watch. What was the word I was looking for? To invest. If you only have that amount of time to invest, and that channel may be for you. So I don't know if Typo's here or not, because usually she pops in pretty fast, and I don't see her here. So Typo, if you're there, I'm putting you back into the waiting room. I'm not kicking you out, right? You're there, and we'll see you, when you get back. And then we also have Soren here, and we have Leslie too. Leslie is, hopefully he'll be coming and channeling some piano music for us. All right. Or maybe there's something wrong with Zoom. I hope not, because Soren's taking it. We haven't had a problem all night yet, but maybe there's a little problem here. And let me see if I can look at my calendar while we're waiting for Soren to get in, and I can tell you the upcoming ones. Oh, and the one, so tomorrow night's a fascinating NDE. Now, this woman this woman was adopted and she has never met her biological family. And during her NDE, she saw someone she didn't know. And I don't remember if she discovered it during her NDE or not, but at least 13 years later, she finally saw a picture of her biological father, and that is the person that was in the NDE with her. So I think that's amazing. And I hope you guys will enjoy that NDE tomorrow. So it sounds like Soren's here, her microphone's there, so at least she's here in audio and sound. But I don't see her camera. There she is.
So, hi.
Hi, Soren. I like your glasses.
Thank you. Long time no see. I wanted to come in and say hi.
Well, welcome back.
I keep forgetting on Saturday night. I don't know. I must be doing something else, and I listen to them later.
That's okay. Well, we got you now. What do you have new for us?
I wanted to say hi. Well, I have an observation, and I don't think I'll be very articulate about it because it's almost impossible to talk about. But I was watching a fellow, I don't know his name, I think he was recent. He had white hair, and he was a scientist.
Okay.
And he kept talking about physics. But he wasn't a physicist. He was some other kind of scientist, like a neurobiologist or something like that. Do you remember him?
Kind of. How long ago was it?
Well, it rose up to the top of my choices for you, so I assumed it was kind of recent. They don't seem to have, in my system, they don't seem to have the dates anymore.
I had a guy he was some type of, I know I had some scientist recently, and I'm just kind of scanning through.
Yeah, he had white hair. And every time you asked a question, he would say very joyfully, "Oh, Jeff, that's such a great question," because you really did ask good questions.
I don't remember. It's going to take me a while to figure that out. Okay, I wish I remember anyway, what it was.
He would say he kept doing experiments of his own at his own university, experiments in physics, because he said, "Oh, if this happens, then if I put these things in this jar and then I hit them with this laser beam. I should be able to count things, and then that would prove something. And he went on and on like that. And then you'd ask him another question. He'd go, that is such a great question. And he put all these things together. And at one point, after he had done this for many minutes, you asked him a very complex question. You said, so if the little crystals are over here, and if all these Z beams are doing this, and if this is doing that, and if that's doing that, does that mean that consciousness precedes the body or something like that?
Right.
I mean, you put it all together and he went, yes, Jeff. Most people don't get it so quickly. That's exactly what I mean, or something like that, right?
Yeah, I kind of remember that conversation. I'm about halfway there. I don't remember the guest yet.
Yeah, was it recently?
I don't think so. I think it was, well, I mean, recently, your recently and my recently may be two different definitions, but I'm pretty sure it was probably within the last 6 months. I don't think within the, recent for me is last week.
Yeah, for me too. But somehow, as I said, the date, the time, the stamps on my YouTube feed of you, they no longer say 6 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 1 day ago. So I just randomly click on them. But anyway, he was so full of information about the nature. He had an NDE, and then he came back down. He thought he was sent back down to figure it out. And he figured out so much, and he was so clear about it. When he was done, I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to go back and listen to the whole damn thing all over again, because he has all the answers and I didn't get any of them, and I have to learn that. And it was like, and then I said, wait a minute.
I think I know who that is. I think his name is Carl Simonyak or Simonyak.
Yeah,
I think he's a PhD physiologist. A PhD physiologist.
Yeah. So he was talking about what happens in the brain. And
yeah, because he had an NDE as well, and he had a whole new system that he developed after his NDE.
A whole new system, and my first thought was, I've got to go back and learn it so that I really know what's going on, because this guy knows what's going on. And now I have something to say, and it's not to disparage him at all. He was very sweet. He was just adorable. And he was so enthusiastic about having all these answers. But I thought to myself, you know, that's not what we're after. We are not after the physiology or the chemistry or the physics of consciousness. We're after consciousness. And as I was thinking about it tonight, listening to all your lovely guests, I'm thinking maybe we're not even after consciousness, we're after meaning.
Well, I would agree with you on that, but I think people still want something. Maybe people are still wanting some type of explanation. What's going on?
But I think it's because we elevate our minds so much, we forget what it is that really softens us up. And that really turns us on, and that really gives us emotions. It's not that emotions give us thoughts. It's that new thoughts put together a new way, give us emotion. And the emotion is like, you know, and as I was thinking about how the heck I was going to try to say this, it was like, if you were a virgin and somebody told you what it was like to make love, and you'd go, okay, and you write it all down, you take notes. And then you really have it. Or maybe you did make love and somebody says, this is what happened to you. And you go, but that's not love.
Yeah.
Or if somebody could give us the chemical distribution of God, you know, we'd go, that's not. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We want meaning.
I think also one thing is that, and I think one of my guests has said this, is that that's one of the reasons why we come here, is to experience emotion. And maybe the only emotion you get on the other side is love, and that's it. But all the other emotions and all the other feelings, you're only going to get here. And by the way, I found that video. It's called Brain Scientist Becomes Vegetarian After His Near-Death Experience.
That's right.
It was 6 months ago.
That's right. Hey, you got it right on the nose.
Right.
Yeah.
So coming here to
we wouldn't have the sweet meaning if we
Without the
didn't have
sound.
the painful
Right.
meaning. We wouldn't have the sweet emotion if we didn't have the pain emotion.
Right.
And another thing I think I wanted to share is I'm now having the incredible experience, and this sounds really hokey to a lot of people because we've so cast God out of our lives. But last year, someone asked me if I wanted to read the Bible out loud with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said yes. And it took us exactly 364 days to finish the Old Testament, reading twice a week. And then we started the New Testament about a month ago, and a third person joined us. And it's just an incredible experience because we're all on the telephone and somebody will be reading something and then we'll go, wait a minute, wait, what did you just say? And then we massage it, we work it around. And one person, it's like reality or the Bible or an NDE or an enlightening it releases a fragrance, and somebody goes, I smelled it this way, and somebody else goes, well, that's what I thought, but then I thought, look at it this way, and somebody, I don't know what I'm saying, but I wanted to say it.
No, that's okay. That's great. That's why I'm here. So, why you've been gone quite a bit of time. Have you had any new experiences or new insights since we've seen you last, besides what you've already shared with us?
Well, I think that probably 90% of the people who watch your show a lot, who become addicted to it, as I am, sort of wish they had an NDE.
Yeah.
Because it seems so special,
Mm-hmm.
And so all my life, I've interpreted my past when something happened, when I just slipped into another reality for a week and I couldn't get out of it. I've always interpreted that as the turning point of my life. And now I think without having an end, I thought in this week that I would die, but I never did die.
Good.
But I thought I would. In fact, I was doing so much yoga, I felt like if I lay down on the floor, I had to keep moving because I felt like every position was so perfect that I could just freeze there forever. People sort of watched over me so that I didn't. So I think that all of us can slip in for a week or a moment into another reality. And I think that's what a lot of the people were talking about tonight when they were saying, that these other dimensions are right there.
Mm-hmm.
They're right there.
Yeah.
And so I've just accepted that. I think it's like dangerous to kind of sit here and want a near-death experience.
Yeah.
It's like wanting to be enlightened. You can't do it. It's a contradiction in terms. So that's my new experience. It's like the last charming lady who just came on, it's just self-love. It's like, hey, it's okay. It's okay as is. This is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. It's all love. It's all love. It's all about love. And we can just pretend, and it works just as well. I mean, it works perfectly. We can just pretend everything is okay and act that way. And everything is.
You're kind of manifesting when you do that. You keep pretending enough and then the reality will be there.
Good point. Good point. That's right. That's a great way to think of it.
And I think we should always, at least, because I mentioned this to somebody earlier tonight, and I had this conversation with some guest over the last few days, that we have to be careful about manifesting negative stuff in our life.
Indeed.
So we have to, because a lot of times you use the word pretending, but a lot of times we're daydreaming, which is kind of like pretending the future. And we always have to kind of focus on, okay, if I'm going to daydream the future, I've got to daydream something that's positive, not daydream a negative future.
Yeah. The word pretend isn't good because it's got those connotations. Yeah, we must act as in love. And then we create love.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Soren, I've got to run. It's so good to see you again. I'm glad you're still with us.
Yes,
I
indeed.
mean, you know, not only you still not only still with us here on this planet because you said you thought you were going to die, but also still with us
that
and
was a
watching.
long time ago. Yeah.
But still with us watching the podcast and still
Absolutely.
tuning in. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate you for watching, and I'm glad to see you again. And don't be a stranger.
Yes, thank you very much.
My wife told me to tell you that you look beautiful.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Mm-hmm. So Soren, thanks for coming. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Soren. All right. So Leslie just sent us a super thanks, so I can thank him personally for that. Where is Mr. Leslie? Oh. We had typo here and then she's gone. Maybe she'll be back. Leslie, can you hear me?
Very well, and I
Very
think so
well.
also.
Thank you very, very much for that donation, that super thanks. I really appreciate that. And all the time. And actually, I'm glad that I just thought about it. You gave us one last week, and I didn't get a chance to thank you for that, or I forgot. So thank you for that, too. And I really appreciate you.
It's about giving always. I'm not, whatever I getting, I like to breaking and giving. But today, I don't talk. I just amazing. Maybe you can see this river for always.
Love, light, life.
It's really that last 2 days in my heart, this 3 word. And today when I playing, even I get the first few notes, I hear it in my ear. So I know the Lord, or the divine, our source, is somehow want to express this love. So I like to ask your audience for really close the eyes, take rest, and if we talk about frequency, upgrading, and you need deliverance or healing or anything, just use this few minutes for receive something what may not stop the moment when I finish the playing, but only just start the beginning from his power and working continuously in your life. So receiving today and giving.
All right. Now you're going to turn on your other camera.
Yes, sir. It's coming.
And I'm going to try something with me today. I'm going to turn you. Okay, let me see. You added your other camera. Now Leslie channels while he's playing live, and he's going to channel his music while playing. And I needed to experiment with something anyways. Oh wait, no, we don't. We want to keep that muted. We want to keep your sound muted, but have the camera there. And I'm still here, but I want to see what happens if I stop my video. There we go. Let me just start, see if I come back. All right, cool. So I'm still here with you, but Leslie is going to channel some music for us. All right, you ready, Leslie?
I'm ready.
All right. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Bravo. That was awesome. I was thinking that next week we're going to try a meditation at the very beginning for like 5 minutes, right? I don't know if you were here for that when Gopal was here. Maybe we can raise like the whole energy of the podcast right before we start. And what would be awesome is if you can show up right at the beginning and play something really soft like that as background music to Gopal guiding us through the meditation. It's just going to be like a 5-minute meditation.
It's my honor, sir. Thank you.
That would be awesome. So, guys, if you want to hear more of Leslie's music, I believe he plays every day for an hour or 10 minutes. At least you do every day at, I think, 11 o'clock my time, Central Time.
Yes,
what?
Evening's time, in your time, 11 o'clock and 11 minutes. We have around 10 minutes night music, and also in Hong Kong this is 1 o'clock and 11 minutes for them lunch music and little sharing. And Saturday continue, I have the podcast what is for you Friday 8 o'clock. So this is what I have, but it's a little bit longer for I have some visitors also. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. And if somebody interested, just if I can add one sentence more, it's I feel in my heart for I don't want kept before I go. Oh yes, today is celebration for
you. It's your birthday. All right,
today,
awesome.
The Eve time.
Awesome. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I wish you an amazing year this year. I hope this birthday and this year for you is going to be fantastic. And I wish you health, wealth, happiness, and may all your dreams come true, Leslie.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
God bless you. Thanks for coming and sharing, and hopefully we'll see you at the beginning of the podcast next week. That would be 7 o'clock my time. I have no idea what your time is.
By His grace, I will be there, definitely. I'm so honored. Thank you, sir.
All right, bud. Have a great evening and enjoy your birthday.
Thank you.
And that was Leslie. All right. That was Leslie. Cool. So now we got it kind of all set up for our meditation at the beginning next week. Because I was thinking about getting some background ambient meditative music, but now we can have that and Leslie at the same time. Julie, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome back.
Hi. How are you?
You were here before, right?
I was, yeah.
Yes, I thought. Welcome back.
Well, I want to sing Leslie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Such a sweet man.
I hope he heard that. I hope he's here listening.
I love listening, and you're such a beautiful human.
Thank you. So are you.
And I love what was said about the emotions. And I just wanted to maybe add some more 2 cents, like when the other lady did it. And it's just something that I recently learned, and that is prior to emotions have to come beliefs. So if I were to say, I'm going to call you a name, Akusukuta. How do you feel right now?
Nothing. I don't know what that means.
Right. So, but if I call you, you're such a jerk.
Yeah.
Right. Even in your face, it's instantaneous. Like we don't even have control. Like it was in your face, it was like, but the word before that, it didn't mean anything to you because you had no beliefs about that word. So the beliefs that we assign to words is kind of like what we've learned. So I'm like the word stupid or jerk or whatever, we have a pre-assigned belief system about it, that it's mean and hurtful. But when we don't have a belief about something like that other word, it's irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
So prior to the emotions are all those beliefs that we have. And if we can start to go inwards and meditate, I love that. And look at ourselves, and find out like what's going on with us, then I think that's the main trick to switching like into the love and then switching the whole like planet to love. Because I don't personally believe, and I still have a hard time doing it, but self-love. I mean, I can't love somebody else fully because I still don't even know myself yet.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the more time, and I mean, I can't pretend to know anybody else because I don't even know myself, but I can use others to help me learn about myself. And if someone is bothering me, it's because I have that in me, and it's triggered like an undealt with belief system that I have. And usually, well, for me, it came like there's a bunch of them, but the main ones are unworthiness, and I don't feel worthy of even living on this planet yet. So I'm still trying to figure that one.
Why is that you don't feel worthy of being here?
So far, it's come down to the trauma of coming out of the womb, as a consciousness being, the horror of just coming out. You know, I mean, the birthing process is not pleasurable for any party.
Do you remember it? Your own?
Yeah, I was dead a few times in the womb. They never found a heartbeat. I never moved. I was breech like right from the get-go. I don't think I really wanted to come here. And then when I got like yanked out, and it's kind of innate for everybody really, because most people have some sense of unworthiness in one way, shape, or form. And past life or not, it stems from that. Why am I being treated like this? Like my first, exist, I'm here, yay. And then it's just like, wow, like what just happened to me? Why am I here? That's not very nice. This is all consciousness, right? So that's how it started. But yeah.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you real quick. Have you remembered your birth all your life, or did you get hypnotherapy or do something called rebirthing to get those memories?
All on my own, all of the above. I'll call it meditation. I ask myself questions because I want to know like why I do the things that I do, and who am I? Like who am I really? And I could relate to, like I don't remember consciously the experiences of the NDE, but I relate to the NDEers so much because I'm just longing for that home I've never belonged. And it just keeps leading me down different avenues. And in meditation, I've remembered I was buried alive in a past life. I was strangled. I have lots to do with my throat. All part of the journey. Yeah, but if we can learn to love ourselves, then the world changes, because the world or anybody else really has no impact on us. Like we're the only ones that have impact on ourselves. So if I can get right with myself, then I'm not affected by the outside world. And it's really, really hard because we're bombarded with it, right? And we're told all these different things, but the outside world is not going to change. But my attitude of it, my personal reflection of it can change. And if everybody starts to do that, then it has to change eventually, right?
I was thinking about it. I think it was in the late 90s. It was really popular to do something called rebirthing. I've never done it. Have you?
I don't know the process, but I know I've meditated and kind of relived it. Yeah. Like it's horrific, really. I mean, even if you just like, I mean, you're coming out of it. It's nice, beautiful, warm, loving, comfortable space into like bright lights, noise. You're gasping for your first, like,
unfortunately, though, we all have to experience it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I believe a lot of us, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody feels unworthy. You know what I mean? Like on some way, shape, or form, conscious or unconscious. Like we all have certain things that exist amongst humans. Unworthiness is one of them. Wanting to belong.
And people who are famous and very successful sometimes go through what they call imposter syndrome. Like, you become a successful movie star, singer, whatever, and you don't feel like you deserve it. That kind of reminds me what you're talking about, just being here on the planet.
Yeah, and because we're not taught, like we're never told it's okay just to be us. You know what I mean? Like we're taught subliminally and unconsciously and consciously that you have to be anybody but yourself. You know, like for me, it's I'm not good enough unless I'm that skinny. And then I get that skinny, and then it's something else that I compare myself to. But until I get good with myself, like slowly those things are less mattering. And you know what I mean? And
I think also, I was going to say, I think also a lot of people will say, I'm not happy until I get this trinket. And then they get the trinket and then they realize they're still not happy until I get the next trinket. And then, okay, when I get this, I'll be happy.
We're taught that, like, even all religions, we're taught to seek outside of ourselves to that, like, you know, look up, look, whatever, go to this higher power, whatever you want to call it, to get answers, to get like, pray for this, pray for that. But like we are that. So we don't, when we're praying, we're asking, and asking, it comes from a place of lack. So even when we're praying, like, please help me get this, well, I've switched it to thank you. I already have this. Thank you for the beautiful, like, shelter and the food. And because I am very accustomed to lack, like, consciousness. And so even when I'm praying, if I'm praying, I'm still praying outside of myself. I'm still seeking, I'm looking, and I'm missing the point of I'm right here. Like, we're all right here. Yeah. And if we all go in, if I go in, I have all the answers that I need, and you have all the answers that you need. And they might be totally different answers, but they're correct for you, and they're correct for me, even if they're different. Because I'm not you, you're not me. We're nobody else except ourselves. But we spend our whole life really never even knowing who we are. That's my food for thought.
Well, Julie, thanks for coming in and sharing with us. I appreciate you. I'm thankful that you came, and I wish you a great rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right, take care. Oh, she already left before me even saying anything. All right, so we have about 15 minutes-ish left. We may have time for one or two more guests if you want to pop in. While we're waiting, I will tell you the schedule for next week. And let's see who is where. Okay, so tomorrow I will be posting the NDE that I told you that the woman met her biological father during her NDE, which she'd never seen before in her life. That's tomorrow's. On Monday, there's a fascinating man, Gerard Artson from the Netherlands, and we spoke about UFOs and about George Adamski, which is probably the first very famous UFO case. So if you haven't heard that. And then the next day I'll be posting one on an NDE. What is that? That'll be Tuesday. And then Wednesday, which is the one I recorded this morning, is another NDE. And that was the one that I was saying that he said that the other side is right here. We're there already on the other side. It's just that we're in a dream, and that's what we're doing here. We're dreaming and we're here. So to use different mouses. I have to record another NDE on Monday, which would be Thursdays or Wednesdays. Another NDE after that, and then another NDE. So that's 3 NDEs in a row. So there's a lot of NDEs in a row. Oh, and I need to catch this one that I missed. And that is to KS Wonder. Thank you for that super thanks. We really appreciate it. And it says, donate money to Jeff and Mara so we can hear this. So thank you for that. We appreciate that very much. Happened. There we go. I'm back. All right, so that's what's coming up, and I got another woman. I don't know what it is. She wrote a book, Carol Day. I don't remember what that is about. And then the next one is Mira Kelly, or Kylie, Mira Kelly, and I don't remember what she is either, but she's also non-NDE, and then another NDE. So that's quite a few NDEs coming up. So for those of you who love NDEs, that's what's coming up. And it's just kind of, you know, scheduling is not easy. Oh, 1 second, let me see that. Melody Marie. Hi, Jeff. I love your NDE shows. They give me love and hope. Keep having them. I love you all. Thank you, Melody, for that feedback, and we love you too. So yeah, it's not easy filling every single day, although it is getting easier and easier because as we are growing, we are getting approached by more and more people wanting to come on the show. So that's great. It makes my job easier. But on some level, I feel responsible to give you guys good information and bring you value in the podcast. So even though so many people will approach me and request to be on the show, not everybody makes it just because I want to make sure that they're a best fit for the audience. And so again, I'm not to the level yet, but I think we will get to the level where eventually I will never have to, reach out to anybody else. We'll have so many people reaching to be in that it'll be just more simple. And a lot of the guests, the ones that I, feel like just are not going to be the right fit for a full 1 hour podcast do work for Saturday night. So a lot of people I'll kind of, I'll funnel them in this direction. It didn't go up?
No.
Mm-mm. Do I have a Patreon? No, I don't. Somebody actually from Patreon themselves reached out to me and asked me to put together a Patreon. Isn't that pretty cool that they actually asked me to create one? And I just said, yeah, I'd like to, but I don't know. I'm so busy doing this podcast that I don't have time to create something to give to you in exchange for the podcast. You know what I mean? For the Patreon. We're barely keeping up every day doing a daily show. So for me to on the outside create more content or more something to give you as an exchange for that, I don't know what I can do on the side to bring more value, to show my appreciation for donating to us. So I haven't pursued that. It's something I should probably think more seriously about. Maybe when I get some more time, maybe I can create something. But I just, like I said, it's keeping up a daily show is enough almost, just putting together this content. And right here it says, Layla, thank you so much for that. I want to say thank you so much, and hers says thanks for being you. So thank you for that, Layla. We really appreciate it. And Catherine B says, I have a paranormal story. So if you want to join us here, Catherine, you can. You just go to Zoom. Is it Zoom? Yeah, zoom.com. And then you click on join a meeting. And in the description below is the room ID. And so you type that in, and then you type in the password. I think that's all called, password or something like that. But you got to make sure when you do the password, it's case sensitive. And then you'll be in with us. Marine Mama says, I don't know how you and Mara do it. You work so hard. Yes, but when it's a labor of love, it's not that hard. And teamwork. So between the two, it's entirely doable. And honestly, it doesn't feel really like work because I love what I do. So, I enjoy it. And I've said many times on the podcast that, if I won the lottery and had, won whatever the, $700 million or whatever it would be, I would still keep doing the podcast. So, you know, I love what I do. And also for me personally, which I never expected, but this has become my own personal spiritual journey because I talk to so many people and so many interesting conversations. And you might be taking this journey with me because, you know, I mean, again, I mean, if you watch every day like so many of you do, then you're basically on the journey with me, you know, where, you know, we get to hear all this information every day. So it's really cool. Thank you for that, Jack. And Jack, have you been a guest? I don't know. I'm confused. What did you say? We need assistance. Well, maybe someday we will have to get them. It's interesting that I get solicited all the time by other editors that want to edit and create my content into TikTok and Instagram. And it's almost every day that someone writes to me and solicits me to do my TikTok videos for me. Stacy Maxed. I wonder if that's your whole name or is it because it says ... Stacy Maxed. Stacy, thank you so much for that super thanks. We really appreciate it. All right, so where are we at on time? We have 10 minutes left. It's interesting. This is the first time that it's been in probably about 3 weeks that we haven't had like solid guests, if not even going overtime. So we've kind of caught up here. Marine. See, I figured this one's Marine Mama with Marine M. So Marine Mama, I'm guessing that's you. Thank you so much for that super thanks. And it says thank you. So thank you for that. And hello to Jason Marachal. Probably butchering your name, but he's in Australia. Thank you for watching. And he's Jace the truck driver. I wonder if you're listening in your truck while you're driving. Tanya, thank you so much for that super thanks. For a Patreon subscription, what about giving them a backstage look at the interviews or a head start of the videos? That's an interesting idea. That might be a good thing. Is, you know, a lot of time, I don't know how interesting that would be, but a lot, you know, when I interview people, and if I wish there was a guest that was still here, because they would confirm that with me. And you know, when I do an interview, we'll chit chat for anywhere from like 5 to 15 minutes and talk about stuff, and then we'll do the interview. And then when we're finished, a lot of times we hang out for another 10, 15, 20 minutes just talking about other stuff. And I don't know if that would be interesting for people or not. You know, if they hear that or what. You know, and I think Typo gave me this idea. And I could probably, I wonder if I could talk the guests into it. They could probably be up for that. But for someone who's a Patreon member or a, you know, some type of member, that maybe once a week with one of the guests, it would be like we could have perhaps like I'm trying to stop this music here for a second. It's not stopping. There it goes. So once a week, maybe perhaps what we could do is on one of the guests, I'll have a special podcast, a live stream like this, just for the members, and they can ask the guests questions. So you guys can be with the guest for an hour. You know what I mean? I think that could be really cool. That's something to think about. I think that was, like, again, I think that was Typo's idea. If she was here, maybe she would tell us about that. If she is here, maybe she'll join us. What were you going to show me? Angela, wishing you both a great Valentine's Day. We love you two as a couple. Thank you so much. We love you too. And I'm glad you brought that up. We hope you guys also have an amazing Valentine's Day. Too bad it wasn't tonight, so we could have a Valentine's stream. And I thought about that a little bit, and I just thought too late that we could have had a Valentine's theme. I don't know what we would have done though. Maybe it would have to be, I guess, love, basically. You know, something like that. That would have been nice. I could do that and answer dream questions. Creative Learning, New York. I guess I wonder if Creative Learning has been a guest. I'm not really sure, but as a guest, she understands that she could do that. So that's something to think about. I don't know, and if that would be something people would be interested in, but there's an idea that you get to hang with a guest. It would be, it'd be hard to do with every single guest, although it would be pretty kind of cool to kind of reschedule them back, but it would be even busier than I already am, so I don't know. Like I said, we already have trouble getting the videos out on time every day, so that would be like doing 2 videos every day, to do it every single day, but maybe once a week. And I've actually kind of finally fixed out my schedule and kind of got it myself in a rhythm now of getting the guests and recording, where I kind of take Sundays off. And not completely, because we'll be posting a video tomorrow night, but this is my second Sunday in a row where I actually am not recording one. So I'm kind of happy about that I've kind of figured that out, and hopefully that'll continue. And that's also, I'm ahead in videos. I've recorded enough where I'm ahead. And sometimes that's the difficult part. If you want to know difficult parts about this, which I don't know why I'm talking about difficult stuff. But anyways, sometimes guests can't make it, especially at the last moment, they can't make it. And that makes it kind of difficult. And I have to kind of sometimes, figure something out. Evo Life 360. I think that's Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa, for that. I really appreciate that. Super thanks. And I think that should get you to her YouTube channel. Vanessa was here earlier and she was talking about her YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, hopefully you can click on that and that'll take you there. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm glad I came up with that idea. I think it's going to be interesting to do that next week, to do the meditation. And now we've got Leslie and we've got Gopal on board. Like if we all have a meditation, maybe somehow it will change the energy, and see what will happen with this podcast. If, maybe, I don't know if we should all be thinking about something. I don't know what, that's another thing, is I don't know what the vision, what would make this podcast even better than it already is. Jack Dawson, thank you so much for that. Did someone say hype train? Thank you, Jack. But that's something to also consider. I mean, I guess really doesn't really matter. It's just we meditate and all we just focus on is raising our energy. And if our energy is raised, that's all we got to concentrate on. Maybe something special will happen during the podcast. Whatever special is, I don't know how to define that, but it might be really interesting to see what would happen. Where are we at here? What do your sons think of all this? I don't really talk to them about, I talked to them a little bit about that. I don't talk a lot about it. I don't know if they have a lot of interest in the podcast, so I'll talk about it sometimes, but yeah, they're teenagers. They have their own social circles and they're into their own interests. So, if they are interested, maybe sometimes one of my sons will ask me about what I'm up to or what are my guests talking about, and I'll talk about it. But I don't really, I respect whatever they're into, so I'll let them, yeah. And, so if they want to learn more, I talk them about it, but they respect what I do. And so, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good point. That once they get older, maybe they'll be more curious about it, and they'll have a whole library to go back and watch all these. Or if then if we have I'm hoping that if we have grandchildren and great-grandchildren and so on, that these videos will be there from a long time ago. They'll still be there. We'll be ancient people, yeah. Yeah, Kim says I have a teen too, and I get it. They're into their own thing. So yeah, you totally get it. Exactly. Thank you, Karen. So, anything else going on here? We're almost done. Does anybody else have any questions before we go? And there's about a 30-second delay before they hear that question. So I'll wait for a second. And we will be back tomorrow night with the next video. I think you guys are really going to like this one. And oh, really? Nagu Mac, I am updating my Zoom, so I'm kind of I'm trying to join. Okay, we'll wait a minute for you if you want to join us here. You've had a paranormal experience, Jeff or Mara? Not really sure about that. My wife has a lot of dreams, and she dreams. My wife has figured out her own dream analysis, where she dreams the future. She dreams the future in symbols. Tristan Early, thank you for that very, very much. I really appreciate it. So she may have more paranormal activity than I do. Do I cover people taken by the Holy Spirit? I think some of them have kind of explained their experiences as Holy Spirit related or being part of the Holy Spirit. Let's see, EVP. Between the 30-minute mark and there was loud noises. That might have been with Eric B. And I think what you might have heard was sometimes with the guests, like I think his, sometimes when I would speak, you would hear me coming out of his speakers and you heard this with my voice mixed in with it. And that might have been what you heard. Dragon Clown, please have on Mara as a guest. That might be interesting. And they would say, yeah, can Mara tell us more about that? Her dream analysis. And didn't you have a book? Somebody had a book? Yeah. An Antiphers had a book. And, okay. So she said that she has her own analysis, her own symbols, and that's what she's following. Have I seen a UFO? I have not, but I would like to. I want to buy one of those night vision goggles like the guys in the military do, and then I want to get it and hook it up to an iPad and go outside and do UFO fishing. And just point it at the sky and look for UFOs, and I could see it on my iPad. I think that would be really cool and fun. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. It's echoing in my home, so I don't know if I can, I can talk, but I hear what you're saying earlier, so I don't know how to change that.
Do you have YouTube on? You've got to turn the YouTube volume off.
Okay. All right. It's off.
Now that other should be going. Is it just you and me now?
Yeah, it's you and me now.
All right, perfect. All right, so where are you zooming from?
I'm zooming from the mountains of North Quebec, in the area of the Algonquin Park. They call it Parc la Vérendrye.
All right, I'm not aware of that area, but I'm happy to have you. My knowledge of Canada is not that extensive. All I know about Quebec is mostly Montreal.
Yeah, okay, so 3 hours north of Montreal.
Oh, wow, you're way up there then.
So I've been further.
Would you say that you have snow all year long? I mean, you have snow on the ground now and the snow is there all winter long?
Yeah, the snow is here all winter long.
Wow, it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, well, what do you have to share with us?
I was so happy to catch your show, I guess last week or the weekend before that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, I want to tell a story. And
cool.
And then I didn't, I wasn't aware how to use the Zoom and stuff like that. And then thought I had to write to you first. So I did. And anyhow, so yeah, share the story that was on my mind because it's, you know, paranormal and supernatural. And I've had a lot of that in my life. So I thought, okay, I'll, you know, try to tell one story or two stories that, you know, interconnect or like I have pretty interesting synchronized story, I guess I'd have to say, where something happened to me in the closet, classic closet genre, light coming out of the closet experience. And I might have been maybe 9 years old, and I got to be honest, I don't remember the age, but I was the age where I was so scared getting out of the closet that, okay, like whenever I tell the story, I say I was beamed up, I was abducted, and then when I came down when I reappear, I just go to my brother's bed and I'm scared and I ask him if I could sleep next to him. So I you know, 11 years old, I'm trying to think, was I too old at 11 to do that? Or must have been between 9 and 11 and fell back asleep. My brother said, yeah, it's okay, fell back asleep or hardly woke up in the morning to talk about it I was excited and I talked, well, excited and a bit mysterious, like was it a dream? I kind of started asking myself. And so then I said up to my mom, hey mom, you know, this happened last night, and a light from the closet with what I can imagine, like a green. Okay, it was green. I'm not imagining that. I remember the green color. It was very clear, but the shape wasn't not very clear. So, but then, you know, since then till now, I've watched so many sci-fi movies that I imagine the body was kind of well, it was light, so but it's like from the center of the story, the core, what happened, and then it comes back to me later in life. Is like I'm surrounded by different lights, so there's like as if I'm at the table at some kind of light table, and I'm sort of like sitting there with green, and on the opposite side of the table there was purple, and there's all these different colors all around the table, and that's what happened. And then some blue starts flying towards me, and then there was a protection something, and how I felt so protected by green, I guess. And then the next moment I'm in my room. So there was not much as a 9 to 11-year-old. There was not much I can make about it or understand about it. But my mom certainly told me, don't go talking about that at school. The kids are gonna think you're crazy, or the teachers are gonna call me back and tell me that, you know, and I, you know, said you had a dream, Michelle. That's what we call them, a dream.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, just telling the story, my body's kind of shaking a little bit.
Wow.
So,
it really affected you.
Yeah, I think it affected me in like this. Maybe I was asking for it, or maybe because I was like this kid being beat up by older brothers, I had this kind of experience where I looked into the divine for guidance. Like my grandmother would visit once every other month and say, you know, don't worry about your older brothers. You know, God will protect you. I'll talk to your mother, blah, whatever. The thing is, like, the bullying going on. I looked for guidance, like how can I get out of this type lifestyle, and so in about the similar moments of that whole thing, mom telling me not to talk about it. Who can I talk to about it? Church and white robes seemed to be there, and I was going to Catholic school, so there seemed to be like the priests would come to our school to talk to us individually each at our desks, and and anyhow, what am I trying to say is I went to the park to ask for guidance, and so I'm looking up at the stars, like again the classic looking at the stars. If I was 9 to 11, how many movies that by then, had I been able to watch that? I was born in 74, so maybe we're talking 83, 84, 85. Anyhow, so I'm looking at the stars thinking, okay, I will make my prayer, and then I will get my sign, and that's how I will understand myself on my own. Don't need a priest, don't need a church. I'm going to just make that prayer. Can you please back me, get my back on this, like how the violence and the conjugal violence, and then the older brothers seen violence, and can you please help me out? So then I opened my eyes, and for sure that star was there. That one star, that one glowing brighter than the others, and just coming towards me. Not the orb story. It did not come all the way to my body. It was still distance in the sky. But for me, that was enough. And my whole body was kind of like, oh, wow. And I was so happy. I had just never had that kind of nature in the moment, synchronized moment, like with the stars, like that, quite like that. So I went home and decided it was important, this, whatever happened to me in the closet or whatever was divine. I decided, okay, I'm going to give my life to that, whatever that is. I'll give my life to that. And then hopefully I won't have to deal with the kids at school, or, or I'll be guided into some kind of maybe something that could explain to me a little more about the spiritual or divine things my grandma was talking about. So, and that's just the 9 to 11 story. Young, I was young, and the story, it comes back to me later in life. I'm 19, and I'm having my first intercourse. First intercourse. It was the first this goddess woman. I'm going to call her goddess woman. She wanted my baby. She said to me that she knew she was going to have my baby. She was 10 years older than me, and for lack of wisdom at that age, I hitchhiked thousands of kilometers to go see this person that knew that I would give her a baby, even though she was a gynecologist, certified gynecologist, and could not have babies. So, but she was into this great goddess, praying this, that, aliens, Mount Shasta, all this kinds of things. So that I wasn't used to, but I was in love, and so one night there was that green color again. So I was like a little bit shaky, tripped up, sweating, woke up my partner, and I'm sort of like, I don't want to use her name without permission online. It's funny. It's so funny because we did have that baby, so it's like a miracle. At the same time, she does end up pregnant and having this baby. And what she told me in the next morning, she told me that, she said, "Oh, Nagamak, that was the something." She called them the grays or the something. I wasn't sure. The words she was using with me were new, and so I didn't remember it, but I felt profound that, okay, this girl knows what's going on.
Wow.
And then so that's the abducted thing in my life, where that was sort of paranormal.
Yeah, definitely.
And, super, I have to say, it changed my life forever.
Of course, yes.
So,
well, Nagamak, thank you for so much for coming and sharing your experiences with us. I really appreciate you, and I'm going to be running off, so thank you for coming and sharing with us, and don't be a stranger. Come back and share with us again.
For sure, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Take care. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. I wonder. Oh, I can't hear it. Darn it! I took out the wrong thing. I hit the applause button, but I was wondering why am I not hearing it? And I had to change. I changed headphones so I could hear him better. At the beginning, I was just struggling hearing him. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us this Saturday night. It was a busy night. A lot of people were here. That's great. So I will see you guys back next Saturday night. Thank you all again for the super thanks. And thanks for watching. We really appreciate you guys. God bless you. We love you. And good night.